Hi, this is the last video I'm going to do in 2011. And I wanted to hit the subject of raising a special ed child. I have an autistic boy, Aaron, that basically has an IQ of 52. And I wanted to share with other parents and maybe those that don't have any information or ideas what it's like to raise an autistic child. Aaron was the cutest little thing when he was born, blonde hair, black eyes, and he was very cute right up until he could ride about a tricycle. And we noticed as his parents one day that he couldn't ride a tricycle. He couldn't put one leg after the other. That concerned us, so I took him to the doctor, and it was a regular doctor, no specialist, and he asked Aaron to stand on one foot, and Aaron couldn't do that. And he turned to me with his diagnosis, and he says, your son is retarded. Well, I about went nuts, thinking that not being able to stand on one foot meant mental retardation, but as it came out, that doctor was right. We went back home, and Aaron was always doing projectile vomiting, and that was a mess to take care of. And then suddenly the other kids began to speak and to play and roll the ball and do other kinds of childhood things, and he was way, way behind. Some of those things he couldn't even do. Now, when you have a child like that, and I'm just telling you my experience, a little bit with the Mormon Church, a lot with just special ed. When I went to the Mormon Church and said to a bishop, I need some help. This is an expensive child, and he needs doctors, and he needs medications, and he needs all kinds of services. And the bishop said to me, well, that's not the church's problem, that's your problem. And he's your son, and you need to find private funds. We're not going to give you a cent for Aaron. Well, you know, I'm stupid. A red flag should have gone right up in my face, but I didn't. I stayed, whatever, another 25 or 30 years. It's embarrassing sometimes. Now, I have a degree in social work, and I worked in special education my whole life, and I'm used to kids spitting on me and crapping their pants in public and having to clean them up and making noise in a movie theater and throwing a fit in Walmart trying to get a candy bar, taking their seat belts off, trying to climb out the window when the car is going, throwing shit out the window and trying to explain that to the police. And Aaron used to call, when they finally taught him to call 911, he called it every day 4 or 5 times. Finally, the police would call me back and say, you know, David, is that Aaron? I go, yes, sir, it is. They go, we're not coming anymore. I said, okay, that's good. So they can't drive. They can't read sometimes. They can't write. They can't understand anything at age level. Well, I tried in the public schools. We were in California. And I fought very, very hard for Aaron to have the best education he could have under the special education laws. And in those days, special ed had money, and they spent a lot of money. I sued him a couple of times. That's high motivation for a school district to try to, you know, give him some programs, tutors and other things. And one time we were at my oldest son's house, and I was supposed to be babysitting, and Grandpa fell asleep. Aaron went in and exposed himself to the 10-year-old cousin and was caught, and I felt bad about that because he was my responsibility. Nothing was ever came of that because he's like a 3-year-old. Well, when you have a special education child in the Mormon Church, you have a handful because it's tough enough to get 5 other kids that are normal dressed. Just dressing and bathing a special education child takes all kinds of time and resources. And then sometimes you're going, you know, in the car and you get to the ward house and he's undressed everything in the back seat. So now you're back there and you tell your wife, you know, take in the other 20 kids and I'll drag this one in when I can get him dressed again. So it is arduous. it's sometimes disappointing. I think all of us who have ever been involved with special education children in our own family have said, what did I do wrong? Did I take medication while the baby was being developed for the mothers, and the father going, we got no retarded people in our family, it must be her family. There can be fights about how to raise the child, how much responsibility the child takes, and also the older children get an extra burden. They have to help watch that child, cross the street with him, help him get dressed, feed him at the table, help him get in the bathtub, help him get into bed at night, etc. So I wanted to do this last video of 2011 on being kind, being understanding, being better than the Mormon Church. I couldn't get Aaron into any class in the Mormon Church, and they wouldn't give him a special one-on-one teacher. And I look back at that now as a blessing, because he's not a Mormon. I think he's baptized, but he doesn't hold the priesthood. No one else does either, but Aaron doesn't. So it's an extra burden. It's an extra burden. It's hard enough to be a Mormon with 5 or 7 or 8 kids. I wanted to mention this in this video too. There is, again, a secret sign, token, and symbol that those of you that aren't dyed-in-the-wool Mormons don't know about, okay? Most of the Mormon mothers drive vans because they need the seat belts. There's 7, 8, 9, 10 people. And many of them are soccer moms, and I'm not against that, but I do think that there's probably more important things to teach a child than to kick a soccer ball. But be that as it may, the Mormon women go to Walmart. I think this is available at Walmart. I don't know. And they buy these decals. Now, I'm sure all of you have seen this fish decal for born-again Christians that they put on restaurants sometimes that are owned by born-agains. And you've seen it on license plates and cars. Well, the Mormons have their signs, tokens, and symbols too. And what it is there are I want to say cutouts. They're not cutouts. They're see, I can't remember. I went to the doctor with my wife, and she said, "What's wrong with him?" And the doctor said, "He has CRS." And she said, "CRS? Is that serious?" He said, "Well, he can't remember shit." The doctor was right, and I paid him. I paid him to hear that. Decals of the world. There it is. Dementia. It's coming off the back of the brain. You can buy these decals, and the moms do that for the LDS recognition in the community. And so they buy a father, and they buy a mother, and then they buy kids of different ages, 17, 16, 12, 8, 14, 9, right on down. And then the last one is usually a dog or a cat. So on the back of their van, if you ever come to Utah, you're going to see the Mormons putting the decals and emblems on their family vehicles showing how many children they were fertile enough and stupid enough to have and to try to take care of and try to educate in schools, which Utah has the lowest amount of money spent per child in the United States on schools. So the parents are certainly bringing those children into a wonderful educational system. So watch out for the Mormon stickers and decals. And if you have a special education child, don't expect the Mormon Church to do crap. They didn't do crap for my child. And the school district in California took that 52 IQ. He can read the newspaper now. He has a little job where he stands out with a Pizza Hut sign or something and walks the streets. And he lives pretty independently. And his life was certainly better that the California school system took a lot of responsibility and a lot of money. And I appreciate that. And I just wanted to let my audience know, I know what it's like to have a special ed kid. And when you're autistic and you got an IQ of 52, that's pretty severely handicapped. That's not like a child that has 68 or 59 or whatever that can do a lot of things. So be kind, be understanding. When I was a Mormon, I was taught to believe, again, this is an underground doctrine, that special ed children were special. You know, after you've changed the pants of a 12 and 15 and 17-year-old boy when he's gone poo-poo, you're not feeling real special. Well, the Mormon Church says that these are people who were in the pre-existence, and they came here and they didn't need to be tested. The parents needed to be tested, and the brothers and sisters, we were all tested, but Aaron wasn't tested. And that when he dies, he will go to the highest degree of the celestial kingdom, and the Mormons believe he will still have his penis. The rest of us, if we don't get there, there's no penis, there's no vagina. So, you know, these children that die under the age of 8 years old, the Mormons believe that they didn't need a test, and God just sent them here for a physical body, and it rots in the ground. So I don't know what the Mormon whole idea is. You know, they say when the people are resurrected, they'll not be missing a hair on the head. That kept me in the Mormon Church for years. Now I don't care. Now I don't care. So those of you that have these extra burdens, and certainly my mom is 85, and she's moving into our house here in the next month. And caring for an elderly person is very similar to caring for a retarded or special ed child, or a child that has, you know, a serious head injury and doesn't function anymore. So those of you that are there, that have some understanding of what I'm saying that I'm proud of you. I'm saying we need to be patient. I'm saying that we need to help them to get the best life that they can. I'm saying that it shouldn't ruin our life. We have a right to some time. We need some hospice, and we need some people coming in sometimes to take on some of those burdens, so we can go out for a day or two or go overnight and visit other people. So it's America, and we certainly take better care of our disabled citizens than other countries do. So please, in the new year, you know that if I don't die tonight, which I might, I'll be so glad I won't have to do any more videos. So Happy New Year, and I hope that 2012 finds you and your family healthy, and I hope that I'll be able to continue my videos. Thank you so much. Have a Happy New Year. Bye.